Hi guys, it's Lori here at Lore Stitches on YouTube and over at Lore Stitches on Instagram. We are here today for Flosstube number 12. Hi guys, welcome back. If you're a returning viewer, thanks for coming back to check out the Flosstube today, see what we've worked on as far as finishes, whips, new starts, plans, haul, and guys, I do have a finish today, so I'm really excited. If you're new here, really appreciate you coming, checking in, watching my channel, seeing what you think. Hopefully you stitch some of the same stuff that I stitch, but if you're like me, sometimes you like watching other things that people stitch too. I know I'm not a super huge sampler stitcher, although dang it, I keep finding floss tubes and people are stitching stuff and I'm like, I want to do that. So yeah, you just never know when you might find something that just strikes you and you want to stitch. So hope you hang around, watch what we're doing, have a good time, stitching on your stuff, snacks, whatever you want to do. Anyway, for those of you that are new here, you'll see I have golden retrievers. I have 5 golden retrievers. And so they are hanging out here in the craft room with me today. I need to really vacuum my floor because they put out so much hair that it's insane. So you might hear them panting, you might hear them messing around, they might bump against the table, you know, chaos. That's how we live here. All right, so I really want to start with the finish because I am so excited. Another thing that I'm really excited about is one of my really good friends from college, we used to hang out all the time. And then you know how you kind of grow up and move apart and don't talk as much. We've kind of have stayed friends on Facebook and Instagram and things like that. And she and I used to cross stitch together. Gosh, I want to say we were like 19, 20, somewhere around there. So over 20 years ago and almost 30 years ago, which is really sad. Anyway, she's really into full coverage pieces and has been posting a lot of that stuff on Instagram, so I've been keeping up with her. And one day we were direct messaging. I don't even remember if it was about this or we were just chatting about something, and she was like, hey, we should do like a virtual stitch together thing. And I was like, oh my gosh, that would be so fun because I do not have any stitchy friends in my local area. So I was like, that would be so great. And I haven't spoken to her for a long time. So last Saturday, we were able to do like a Facebook Messenger with a camera video chat. Words. I need to find the words. I've had that problem all week. Anyway. Yeah, so we did a Facebook Messenger video chat last week. I think we were on there for about 6 hours. It was so much fun. We got to catch up with personal lives and stitchy lives and work and all the things. So it was really, really fun. But what was also fun is that I ended up getting my finish while I was on the video chat with her. So that was really cool. So if you have been a subscriber or you've been watching my channel, you will know that I had 6 finishes that I wanted to complete this year. I completed the first one on January 3rd, and I haven't completed another one since, and I was freaking out because it's late August and now today is September 1st, and I was worried because I hadn't even completed a second one. So I picked up the closest to being finished, which happened to be my Supernatural sampler. And this is what that, oh man, it's even worse now. Okay, this is what the Supernatural sampler looks like. It's by Fandom Stitchery. She is on Etsy, but I don't believe she has this pattern anymore. And let me kind of, I did iron it, although it's still a little wrinkly, but I washed it because it had some spots on it. So this is what it looks like done. So I'm really, really excited about this. These are all sayings from the TV show. There was a whole lot of backstitch involved in this car. And unfortunately, the key was a little bit confusing in regards to the backstitch, but I think I got it sorted out enough where it looks okay. And if I would ever do this again, which I will not be doing this again, but if I were to ever do something like this again, I will backstitch these words as I go, because I forgot to do that. And I didn't realize it until I got up to here, and I worked, for whatever reason, I worked from the bottom up. I usually don't. I usually start in the top left and go down, so I don't know why. But when I got up here, I realized I hadn't been backstitching. So I backstitched this whole phrase as I did it. I backstitched bollocks as I did it. And then I finished this, and then it was done except for the backstitch. So I had to go back down here and do these. I had to do idiots. I had to do hey ass butt, and then everything in the car. So it is now completed and done, and we will probably get this framed. And outside my craft room, we have kind of an area that has a big old comfy couch and a fireplace and a flat screen TV. And then behind that in the corner is a bar. And then around the corner is a game room and a pool table and all that. So down here is kind of like the entertainment area. And I've been wanting to do quotes from movies or TV shows like on the wall, either like in vinyl or something. And so I think I'm going to get this framed and hang it down here, because that'll kind of go with this theme, since these are all quotes from the TV show. So I love that it's done. I'm really, really excited. Yeah. So this is now finished, and I marked it off on my WhipGo board. It has not been called yet. It's project number 3. So it's this one right here in the middle. So I X'd it out in a different color so that I know it's not one that's been called. But it's done. So I'm really, really excited. Yay. I can't get too close because the way the sun is shining outside now, it's shining right in this window. But I do have one of the 12 pieces that I wanted to start this year was a smaller supernatural design, and I didn't want to start it until I finished this one. So now I can start that one. I honestly probably would have started it right away, except I have this black 3-tiered storage cart, I guess, with projects that are already kitted up. And I was done, and the next day I just wanted something quick that I could grab and do. So I grabbed something completely different. And really, I should have grabbed something on my WhipGo board, because I've got things that I need to finish, and I have a lot of whips over here. So I did. I was a good girl, and I pulled out Away We Ride. This is by Blackbird Designs. This is what it looks like. Sorry, I can't get really close to the camera. I have mine on a Picture This Plus Legacy Lugana. And this is where I'm at with it. I just have the top border done. But my WhipGo goal is to finish this zigzag sort of border here. And then there's words, Away We Ride, till it's darkest pitch. And then there's some other little things below it. So there's a section here. That's my goal for WhipGo. So I don't really think that would take me that long. I want to even say it's probably only 2 colors. So I was good, and I pulled it out, and I'm like, yeah, that's what I'm going to do. But if you follow me on Instagram, you will see I said I hit the brakes and took a hard left and started something totally different. Not even anything that was in my start list, but it was something that I did have kitted up. So let's talk about those. I had just grabbed a whole bunch of 14 count Aida, because I have a bunch of it, and cut them into little pieces, because I have all of these Scary Apothecary by Hands On Designs. They're super cute. I kind of like them because they look almost like labels for apothecary bottles, and I kind of want to do that. Somehow make them into labels for apothecary bottles and use that as decoration. So I already had the called for threads sitting in this bag. I don't know when I ordered them, but they were all in here. So I popped one on a little tiny Q-snap, and this is terrible lighting, but this is snail slime. So this is this one. And I got started. It's probably only about 150 stitches. My Needleminder is by Dissent Stitch. It's the Plague Doctor. But yeah, I don't know. On 14 count Aida, you don't even really need, I don't even need glasses for that, nor a light. So this is something that I could keep at my bedside table or take with me as a travel project, something that's just super easy. So yeah, it's kind of nice to have it started, and I could just pick it up if I'm not really in my craft room where my light is and all of that to start working on. So yeah, not a lot of progress on it, but it is a new start. This is a Ravenclaw bag I got on Etsy by, Fancy Boy Designs. Yep, that's what it says, Fancy Boy Designs. And I just have the whole entire project in here. It's a lot smaller than my normal project bag, so it's nice because I can just throw it in and go. It's got a little handle on it, so yeah, easy to grab and take with me anywhere. Here come the dogs again. Looks like Indy and Willow they're the two youngest. Willow's over 2, but Indy's just over 1, so they horse around a lot together. Alright, so my next start is in a DotDotGoose design bag. She's on Etsy. And you guys will remember this if you watch my last one. This is Ink Circle's Woodland Vines. And I had picked up Nightstalker's Calling the Bog of Eternal Stench, because to me it looked really woodlandy. Not a word, I know. But it's got browns and greens and even some kind of maroon colors in there. Yellows, golds. And I had wanted to start it on this kind of green, yellow toned green piece of fabric that I had dyed myself many years ago. And I didn't sell, I used to sell fabrics, but this one had a slub in the fabric, but I figured I could put something on it still and cut off that piece. And when I was measuring this, I wasn't real sure if this design would fit or if it was going to get real close to that slub, which when I mat things, I usually only do like a 1/4 or a 1/2 inch gap between the mat and the design. So I figured I could probably get real close as far as that slub goes. I'm worried it would be in the negative space of the pattern, so that's why I didn't, like if it was full coverage, it might be fine because I could just stitch right over it, but it's not. So what I had thought about doing was stitching down the side of the pattern to see where I was. And a lot of you guys had some really great ideas last time about basting all the way across, or there were so many good ideas. So I really appreciate all of your guys' input. I realized though that when I measured the design size, I measured it with the 2 inches on each side. And so 2 inches on each side is like 4 total inches from top to bottom. So if I started it a little bit less than 2 inches on the top and don't need all the 2 inches on the bottom showing in the matted piece, then I think that slub's actually going to be hidden. So I don't think I have to do that. I, for some reason, didn't even think when I was talking to you guys about it last time, all I could think about was 14 by 14, and that's like this far from that slub. But then when I sat down and I got out my cross stitch fabric calculator, I realized that I had plugged in those 2 inches on both sides, so that is 4 inches to spare there. So I think I'm gonna have plenty of room. However, out of, I don't even know, second guessing myself just to make sure, I still decided to go straight down this side just to make sure. And this thread is so variegated that I can stitch one stitch in one color and stitch the next stitch and it's almost a completely different color. So it won't even matter what I start here to go off with, because this fabric or the thread is just so variegated. I love how it looks on this fabric. I am stitching it 2/1 tent stitch. I don't know if I can get you up close. It doesn't look too bad. That's really much brighter. Thanks, sun. That's really much brighter than it really looks in real life. But yeah, I think it looks fine. 2/1 tent stitch. This is about 450 some stitches, half stitches, because it's not full cross. You guys, I have a story, by the way. I stitched 5 stitches in this and set it down. And I did 5 whole stitches in it because I just started it and wanted to see how it would look. And then I set it down to think about whether I liked it or not. And it was real bulky. The full cross stitches were real bulky in 2/1. So I set it down and I was working on, I think it was my Supernatural piece. And I just had it sitting on my table right over here. So keep in mind, it was only these first 5 stitches right here at the top. And this thread is brown, green, all of that. So it's brown in color, those first 5 stitches. I went upstairs to get something to drink, came back down, and I looked at it. Did not have my readers on because I had been upstairs. And I was like, oh, there's chocolate on my fabric. Somebody got chocolate on my fabric. What the heck? I don't ever have food in this room. I mean, I have my drinks. I don't ever have food in this room. And I'm not a huge chocolate eater. I like things like Kit Kats. They have to have other things in it, right? I don't eat straight chocolate. I don't eat straight chocolate, no pudding, no cake, whatever. I was like, did my husband come down here and was like munching it and talking to me and I didn't notice and he dropped a piece on my fabric? Like, oh, I can't even believe it. And I literally started scratching at the fabric. It's not coming off. Oh my gosh, it's not coming off. Like I can feel that chunk of something on there that's hardened and it's not coming off. You guys, I don't know. I don't even know how many minutes it took me to realize. I think probably I got mad, threw it down, put my glasses on to stitch on something, glance up and realize you are an idiot. That is the 5 stitches that you put in that design that are brown in color. Oh my gosh. I didn't even think my eyesight was that bad, but I know it was bad because I couldn't stitch on Lugana and I had to get readers on top of my contact lenses because my glasses that I had just bought glasses before I started having to do this to see things. Oh my gosh, you guys. I felt like such an idiot. I don't even think I told my husband yet that I did that. But, yep, that's what I did. I'm not even blonde, but there's some in there apparently somewhere. Anyway, this is the DotDotGoose bag. I love it because it's got the sunflowers. Yeah, so I'll keep trucking on that one. I really do think it's going to be fine. I'm not as worried now as I was last time I talked to y'all about it because I forgot that I had calculated the 2 inches on each side. So I think we'll be good. But I really, really appreciate all you guys giving me advice on what to do with that. So I'm excited to keep going with this. I just got to figure out how to fit this in here. There, that's probably better. Alrighty, so those are my whips. I actually almost two starts actually. A finish, 2 starts, and almost a 3rd start, you guys, because I have Plum Street Sampler Jack's Bash. I don't know if I do it on this side. Nope, still sun. Plum Street Samplers Jack's Bash. Apparently I have all of these flosses too hanging out in here. And I have a piece of fabric that I dyed. This one was called Dragon's Mist Mystique. But this fabric, I had dyed this for a customer, but it has, I don't know if you're going to be able to see this right here. Can you see this pink? It's even worse like back here. on this side. It's when the dye doesn't dissolve all the way in the water, because dye is powder, the stuff that you use commercially. And that's not acceptable for me to send that out to a customer. So I did a whole other piece of fabric for them and mailed that out. But I kept it because there's plenty of fabric here for me to stitch something on and be able to cut that off. So anyway, I actually saw this and I was like, ooh, I kind of want to work on that. So I put it all on my Q-snap and I stuck it on my Lowry stand. And then my husband came in and he goes, are you starting something else? Because remember, I had started that Woodland Vines and then I started that snail slime. The Woodland Vines I had started the day before, just with those 5 stitches in, and then I took them out and just did them tent stitch. And then I started the snail slime, and then I put this on the Lowry, and he goes, are you starting something else? I'm like, so what if I am? Not that I get defensive or anything. I said, do you know how many patterns I have in stash that I am probably never going to get to because I'm going to be old and dead before I get to a lot of them. So if it makes me happy to start it, I'm going to start it. And he said, babe, you start whatever makes you happy. And then walked out. So he evaded my wrath that night. Anyway, I have this in a Garon Tottenbags bag. But I did not put any stitches in it. It's on my stand to start. So very likely the next time we see each other, I will have started this because it is all ready to go and I can't resist that. So next up to be started, Jack's Bash, and probably my Supernatural sampler, to be honest. The new one. Alrighty. Then we'll talk about haul. I did get my Bestitch Me fabric of the month in. It's a turquoisey blue kind of color called Luna Moth. It's still in Aida because I messaged her saying, hey, guess what? I can go back to Lugana now. I figured it out. But it was too late. So she'd already had me down for Aida still for August. So in September, we'll go back to Lugana. It'll be fine. And then I got a DotDotGoose design bag. I wanted another patriotic bag. I have one, but I have 2 patriotic designs going. I have Lady of the Flag, and I have My Heart Beats True for the red, white, and blue. So I'm going to take one of those out of whatever bag they're in and stick one in this. I really wish I could find one, though, that Pinky Promises does. So Wanda, I believe her name is, from Pinky Promises. Not that you watch me, but if you do, can you make a patriotic one so I can buy it? Please. I did pick up more from Pinky Promises. She is my absolute favorite bag maker. She's on Etsy. But look at the difference between these sizes. Like, there's a whole extra, more than an inch here. More than an inch there. And I love that she does this embroidery on the back. So this one's a heart made out of roses, and then the fabric inside is hearts. It's kind of Valentine's-y, but I don't care. I love love. It's fine. I think the one I was telling you guys about, though, was this one. It's kind of a nautical, so it's got the anchors and the old-style map and an old-style ship, but it has this captain on the back, which is super cool. I don't know why I love that, but I do. So I'm not sure what I'll put in here, but I really, really like this. So this is what I went there to get. And then I was like, well, you can't just get one. You got to have friends. So I got that one, and this is also one that I did not have. This is just a skeleton hand holding a rose, and on this side, it's got the skeleton hand doing the I love you, and then there's a little pink thing that says forever underneath. So cute. And you know me, I love Halloween, so that fits my theme. But one of the things that I was thinking about when I was watching, that ends my haul, by the way. And then I do want to do the 500 subscriber giveaway and my Adopt a Whip. But one of the things that I wanted to talk to you guys about is unicorn designs. I think people probably know what unicorn designs are, but in case you're new and you don't know what it is, it's a design that's really hard to find. At least in my mind, that's how I call a unicorn whip. One that's really hard to find, like either it's been discontinued or very expensive or something like that, where it's just hard to get. And my unicorn design is a design called Witch's Hollow by, I want to say, the Primitive Stitcher. And if I'm not right, I'm going to put it below, and I'm going to show you a picture of what it looks like. So I was watching Flosstube, and I want to say someone was stitching this, and it might be Megan at Seattle Stitcher, the Seattle Stitcher. Either that, or she might be stitching on something by the same designer. I can't remember which. But it made me start thinking about, I know a lot of people have unicorn designs, right? And a lot of people have Lady of the Flag as a unicorn design, and I'm lucky enough that I have that one. I actually bought it when it was available to be purchased because I'm so old, apparently, and I was around when it was out. And my husband's ex-military, prior military, he retired after 23 years. So I had picked it up when it came out because I really liked the design. So I know that's a lot of people's unicorn design, but mine is that Witch's Hollow, and I see it on eBay every once in a while, and I feel like it goes for a couple $100, so very similar to Lady of the Flag. I believe I heard somewhere that the designer had passed away, and that's why you can't get the charts anymore. But I watch eBay, I watch Stash Unload, I kind of look for those things, but then you get busy and you forget about it and you don't do it for a while, and I'm sure I've missed it 10 million times. But just curious, what are your guys' unicorn charts? You know, do you have a unicorn design that you always keep an eye out for that's really hard to find, that you are dying to stitch someday? Tell me what that is. I'm just interested to know if people kind of have that in the back of their brain. You know, I kind of have a wish list. I don't have it written down anywhere, but I kind of have a wish list of things that I want to eventually get, but they're things that I can totally get anytime. But that's one that I can't. And so that's the one that I kind of keep a special eye out for. So is there one that you guys keep a special eye out for? Just curious. And gosh, if I were to have it up here in my box O charts that I need to get rid of, I'm happy to, you know, do that. But anyway, I love that on Instagram every year they do that kind of Instagram wish list or unicorn chart kind of a thing, and I will try to look through there and see if I have anything. Most of the time I don't. I don't know if I've ever been able to give something away. I think I offered something, but I think somebody else had already offered it first. Anyway, we need to do the Adopt a Whip and the 500 subscriber giveaway because you guys, we're almost at 600 subscribers, and I am so excited about that. So, information about giveaways that I do. You need to be over 18 because you have to give me your mailing address so that I can mail it to you. I'm going to mail to US people for now. And then, you know, maybe later we can open it up to international, things like that. But for now, let's do US people, and you have to be a subscriber of my channel. So the first one that I have is my UFO by the Sweetheart Tree called Weeping Violets. So this comes with a paper pattern. I'm not showing you the front. It does have a little bit of writing on it, but it's not on the pattern itself. It's actually on the key, because this key, it just said the colors, and it came in a kit, so they were not labeled, right? It came in a kit, and all it says is amethyst, lavender, and dark plum. So I wrote medium, lightest, and dark beside those colors. There's also olive green, celery green, beige, basil, But mine came in a kit, so it had all of the colors in there already. None of them are labeled. I have, I think, the medium colors set aside, maybe. It came with beads, and for some reason, there are additional beads in here too that have spilled out all over the place. But when I look at it, it looks like they are not the beads for the pattern, because those are in this bag that I can see, and there's even charms in there as well. But yeah, I have, and I want to say these are silks. They might not be. I'm not sure. Like I said, it came in a kit all together with this pattern, and I have the fabric I was stitching it on, which is kind of an ivory colored jaslyn. So it's an opalescent, and this is how much of the pattern I have done. And it may be off because that's why I was so frustrated with this, but I was ready to fudge it anyway. But if you are interested in adopting my whip and stitching on it, please make a comment below and use the word violet. It doesn't matter in what context you use it. It doesn't matter if you're talking about the flower, about the color. I don't care. It's going to come in this bag, so it's all together for you. Yeah, whatever you want to, just use the word violet, but don't say anything about a giveaway. And like I said, you need to be US 18 and over and a subscriber of the channel. And use the word violet, and we will give this away. Then, because I had 500 subscribers, I hit 500, almost 6, that's awesome. I decided to do a bit of a giveaway, so I'm going to do a Garon Tottenbags bag. And I want to show you, this is one of their bigger bags, because this is the normal size of their bags. So you can fit a pretty good size project in this bag. So I love Halloween. I figure if you're here, you might like Halloween too. So this is one of their Halloween bags. It's a Velcro. And then inside I have the Cricket collection by the Cross-Eyed Cricket. And it is Skeleton Crew. And I stuck in here a skein of DMC glow-in-the-dark floss. It's E940. When I stitched this piece, which this is my pattern, but I used a working copy, so none of this is marked on. I stitched the sails, or the ghosts, the skeletons on the ship, and then the sea monster below in this kind of thread. It's really hard to do, but it is so worth it. I have it hanging upstairs in our hallway, and when I turn off the lights, you can see everything glowing. It's really cool. So yeah, I've included a skein of this floss in this pattern, and I also included Glendon Place, Grim, Glum, and Gloom. I have also stitched this. This pattern is not marked on at all. So yeah, Halloween, it's the time of year. I love it. Hopefully you love it. So the word I want you to use in your comment below for this one is Halloween. Again, 18 and over, so that I can get your address. Again, you must be a subscriber of my channel. And again, you must live in the United States, at least for now. And I will get these in the mail to you guys. So I'm really excited about being able to do that. As far as my plans go, I'm just going to probably start Jack's Bash. I'll probably start the new Supernatural thing I want to work on. I will pull out one of my Whip Go projects, and I need to start working on it. I may not want to, but I need to, so I will do that as well. So maybe by the next time you see me, if I could get Away We Ride, that wouldn't take very long, really. So I think I could mark that off, and that's, it's the bottom, this one right here, this bottom one. I still wouldn't have a Whip Go yet, though. This one that's like hanging right here, that's Night's Watch Oath, and it hasn't been called yet. I could have that straight across. I could have a Whip Go if I had that one done. Obviously, if I had some of the other ones that have been called done, I could probably have, yeah, I could have the whole top row done. Because those have both been called. and this whole side row. So you can't see my number up there. This week's calls, she just did them this past week. She called number 1 and 15. So my lady, the flag came up. The goal for that is to finish the arm that's holding the torch, to finish the torch and finish her hair. And I'm doing her skin 1/1. So that's a lot more stitches than I probably think it is. But once that's done, I will just have the flag and the banner across the bottom and then backstitch and beading. So she was on my goal to finish this year, but my WIPCO goal isn't actually a finish. It's a smaller goal for that. My other finish was Night's Watch Oath, but my WIPCO goal is actually just to finish that top banner. The wording is all completed on that. It's just the thing that goes all the way around it that needs to be done. And that's more than I think it is too, because I constantly underestimate what I need to do. So that probably won't be finished this year either. And then my wizard is another one. I've already completed that WIPCO gold, so he's already crossed off there. But he doesn't have much left either. And there's one more. I can't remember what my other one... Oh, Supernatural. Yeah, there were 6 that I wanted to have finished, but I don't remember what the other one is. Anyway... Yeah, so the other WIPCO call was my chatelaine, Rose Lights. So that goal is, I think, the border all the way across the top. So those are my 2 WIPCO goals this week, month, whatever that were called. I don't play WIPCO like you have to get them done that month. She always said your board, your rules. So I set up my goal for the year for what I want to do on these projects. That's my WIPCO goal. And so for me, if I get that goal done early, I cross it off in a different color so that I can keep track that it's not technically a WIPCO until it's called. But if it's not... If it's called but I haven't finished yet, I put a square around it so that I know it's been called and I need to work on it. But I purple X it when it's done completely, when it's been called and I have it completed, the goal. So when I started this year, I think I had 27 total whips, and a couple of those I hadn't been working on. So I just put the ones I was working on this list. That way I could touch every project this year. So I've started quite a few since then. So next year I'm really going to have to decide. Although I do have Dark Queen of the Sea on there twice this year. So one of those will be one of the starts that I've had this year. But I'm going to have to figure out... I got to finish some because I got to take them off this board. But there's going to be some next year that won't make it to the WIPCO board. So we'll have to see what we do. Regardless, I'm going to pick a project. Probably Away We Ride or Dark Queen of the Sea because they'll be really quick finishes. Unless I feel a full coverage urge coming on and I can knock out... I have 800 stitches as... I have 1,000 stitches as my goal on all my full coverage pieces, but some of them I have already worked on this year and I've done a couple hundred stitches on them already. So I just have like 800 left to go on the guide, and I want to say 800 left to go on Mini Sleepy Hollow. But Revelation and Steampunk Bride still have 1,000 to go, I believe. I also need to find a better way to keep track of my stitches. I don't know. Do you guys do that? Do you keep track of stitches? This is my indie baby. You can't really see him, but you're a pretty boy. You're such a pretty boy. Now they're all going to get excited and be huffing and puffing right in the microphone, so I'm sorry about that. How do you guys keep track of your stitches? I don't necessarily have anything that I keep track of how many I've done on it. I belong to several Facebook groups where we have goals to complete that week. And so I will pull a project that matches that goal and do that. So I'll get like a couple hundred stitches here, a couple hundred stitches there. But then I realized, I thought, well, I'll just look back when I get to my 1,000 stitches and see how many stitches I've already completed so I know how many to finish. But I don't remember what week I stitched on that. So that would be multiple posts I'd have to go through to figure that out. I need to have a better way to keep track of how many stitches I've completed, or especially when my goal is a number of stitches to complete. I don't really have an app that keeps track of that. So if you guys do you have an app that you like to use, or do you write it all out somewhere, or do you keep a file on your computer, or what do you do to keep track of how many stitches that you do on your projects? I'm not usually a goal type person. Like when I tell you I completed like 450 stitches on this, it's probably 453, but I didn't keep track of that. You know what I mean? But I when I see people that do that, I'm kind of like, man, I love that organization. I love that they know what their percentage is stitched, which means they probably use Pattern Keeper or that markup program. And maybe that's how they keep track. I don't know, but I think that just keeps track total, not what day you've stitched or how many this year you've stitched. So anyway, if you have some good ideas or you guys do something a certain way, I'd like to hear that too. So yeah, Adopt a Whip, Violet. 500 subscriber giveaway, Halloween. Let me know what your unicorn project is, if you have one. And tell me if you use any cool apps to keep track of your cross-stitching, to organize. I have some for like just stash. That's all though. But yeah, let me know. Anyway, that's going to be it for me. And I appreciate you guys coming back to watch. See you next time. Bye.